Welcome to Mindful Matters. My name is Drew, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, actress and producer, Kwajalyn Brown. How you doing today, Kwajalyn?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me to talk today. We met through Cobra Kai.
Yes.
I've interviewed you a few years ago, and I've gotten to see you a few times
hmm
in person, and I'm excited for this. I'm really thankful that you're coming on to this other channel to now talk about something other than Cobra Kai and the acting, but it might tie in a little bit too.
Of course.
Um,
Yes, yes, that's fine.
and yeah, I'm excited for you to be on here and talk to me. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you always keeping me in mind, and I love to support any and everything that you do. So I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you. And same here. Same here. Congratulations on Law and Order, by the
Oh, thank you.
way.
I'm just now coming down off of that high.
That's amazing. Ba-bum, ba-bum, bum, bum.
No, that was amazing. That was absolutely unexpected and amazing.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. So this channel is called Mindful Matters. Before we jump into the discussion, I just want to ask you, why do you feel like mindfulness matters? Why is it important to talk about mindfulness and being mindful?
Because everything starts in the mind, right? Um, Anytime that you create, anytime that you have an action, it starts in the mind. So I think that being mindful and taking the time to take a breath and step back and really reassess things or assess things is really important. I think a lot of times we get stuck in a rat race and we're constantly moving, 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 and we're doing things and we don't know why. So I think that it's very important to step back and maybe ask a few questions of ourselves, so then we know whether to pivot or whether we're on the right track.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. And we're going to be talking a lot about today about self-confidence, body image, um, and yeah, I guess how would you define body image, and how big of a thing do you think it is in today's society?
Oh, God. Body image to me is basically how you perceive yourself and how you think others perceive you, you know, and it is huge today. I mean, everybody's talking about looks maxing and, leveling up and doing all of that stuff. So it's a very huge topic nowadays, a lot more than maybe when I was growing up. I mean, it was there, but it's on
Hmm.
steroids now, very much.
Yeah, I think social media is a big
Oh my
part
God.
of that. Yeah,
Absolutely. I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with the advent of social media, it kind of turned from everybody just sharing their lives to all of a sudden everything's very curated.
Hmm.
And depending on what your algorithm looks like, it's like now all of a sudden you have to look, you're on the latest fad and you're always trying to keep up and you're always trying to make sure that you look like you're supposed to look. And unfortunately, I mean, there's nothing wrong with leveling up and there's nothing wrong with wanting to look your best, but I think sometimes we lose ourselves and we lose that unique, beautiful part of ourselves because we're trying to look like everyone else that we see because that's what's being fed to us constantly. And you feel like you don't measure up because you don't look like this filtered picture on your phone that somebody else doesn't even look like. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a big thing on social media. Like you have lots of people who you know, looks are like the main
hmm
priority. Um I think maybe in the earlier days it was like, people were more like, I think when Facebook was happening, like it was more like, what are you up to, and connecting with people.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it's become a lot about like, I got to look my best for this, even if it's not who I truly am, or.
Right. And I think that's really kind of sad, because there's so many unique faces and bodies and all of that out in the world, but we're just under so much pressure now to try to impress the algorithm. You
Hmm.
know, it's like if you don't look a certain way, if you don't fit certain parameters that the algorithm has decided, then your posts don't get likes. So, and when you become addicted to getting likes, or you feel like your self-worth is tied up in how many people click the little heart or how many comments you get, you're constantly chasing, and you're losing more of yourself because you're chasing something that is hard to catch because the goalposts are always moving, you know? So I think it's really sad, and unfortunate that, being unique and being who you are authentically is not really rewarded in the way that it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you like first like start to notice this? Like learn about body image and like the mental, physical effects of it?
I was pretty young. Yeah, I was pretty young. I would say maybe going into junior high is when it started to hit, because of course now you're blossoming and you're changing from a child and you're moving into womanhood, and all of a sudden how your hair looks matters more, and whether you have the right lip gloss, and all of that sort of thing. So I would say that's when I started to notice it, but it didn't really hit until maybe high school, or right when I was leaving high school. I was still one of those rebels that I was like, I'm going to look like I want to look and I'm going to do what I want to do. But then, when you
Mm-hmm.
start wanting to date and things like that, then, your mind starts changing a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was similar for me too. It was high school was like I think like yeah, it's just those are the years where you I mean you're still a kid.
Hmm.
Like when you're that age, you feel like you're grown up and
Yeah.
like everything's so serious. Like
Ah.
um yeah, I just remember yeah, around that time, sophomore, junior year, I
Hmm.
think that was when a lot of my well that was when like like a lot of the kids were really using social media a lot more for
Mm.
like to impress other people with
Yeah.
how they looked, and also um a lot of people like were starting to go to the gym a lot in high
Mm.
school and like
Hmm.
really work on their appearance. And I remember I wasn't going to the gym and I'm like whoa, like I'm behind, and like I'm like constantly comparing myself to these other
Yeah.
kids my age who are like going to the gym after school hours a day, and I'm like I gotta get on this too, or else I'm
You're going to be left behind.
gonna be left behind. And yeah, and then it was like but I gotta do my third period English homework, like
Right. So where do you find the balance? Yeah.
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 So yeah.
Well, I consider myself lucky because I'm a little bit older than you, but I
Hmm.
consider myself lucky because I came up before social media was really a thing. So
Hmm.
for us, it was about the fashions. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
for us, it was about that. I mean, some of us went to the gym, but it really wasn't that serious. It was more about, if you had the latest whatever on, or,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So there was still a lot of pressure, but I feel for the younger generations because at least we could kind of hide in our little corner of the world, and it didn't matter. But you guys are on display for every corner of the world all the time. And that's a lot of pressure.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it was like basically the type of clothes that you would wear.
Oh, yeah. The
What
clothes,
that
the
would
shoes, your hair. I'm not going to date myself, so I'm not going to tell you when I grew up. But it was just different. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And there weren't cameras in your face all the time. There wasn't a phone in your face all the time, to critique you, and the whole world could see whether you fit in or not. So it was a great time. It really, really was.
Do you think that's a thing today with like is it more about like appearance, like in terms of like somebody's like how they look physically, or like what they're wearing?
I think it's a combo. I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of those things. Um, because how do I say this? You could have two different people, right? And they have on the same thing, but if one is perceived to be prettier, then they think the outfit looks better on them than the one that might not be as conventionally attractive or
Hmm.
considered conventionally attractive. So I think it's kind of a combo of both.
Yeah.
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 But with that being said, I do think, though, that if the person that's not maybe considered as beautiful or as handsome or as whatever, that confidence that they have it can kind of make up for it. So it's kind of it's kind of a weird web, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. No, I respect people so much who wear things that are like quote unquote not normal or weird,
Yeah, yeah,
but then
yeah,
like
yeah.
have that confidence to really pull it off.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, like like I've seen like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a movie or a show or maybe in real life I've seen like someone wearing like a bucket hat with ducks on it and then
Right,
like just like and it's like it's not a regular outfit,
right.
but like this person is able to pull it off
Yeah,
because they just have the confidence. And
yeah.
then like, I remember like I was like, I want to do that. So I went on Amazon and I ordered myself a duck bucket hat. No. I
Wait a minute.
don't
You might be being too hard on yourself. It might be kind of fly. You never know.
you never know. You know what? Somebody else might look and be like, you know what? That's really like strange, but cool.
Yeah. I say
What?
try it. I say wear it out just one day. You can always take
Well,
it
I already
off if you
returned
don't
it.
like. Oh my God. Okay,
but
well maybe the next thing.
but this was years ago. So
Oh,
from
okay.
now we've grown.
Yeah.
Now we've grown.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I do like to take chances sometimes now with like certain outfits. Not worrying about like how people will perceive me. You can wear a
Hmm.
regular t-shirt or pants, but like, if you want to have some fun with it, have some fun with it. And
Yeah,
don't worry about what other people think.
exactly.
Wear that duck hat.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
I'm gonna get it again on Amazon and
I
I'm
was going to
gonna
suggest that, but I was like, hopefully it's still available. And I want to get a picture of you wearing it.
all right. I
No
got you.
pressure. But yeah, I
Oh.
love that too. I was walking around New York a couple weeks ago, and there was a girl that was dressed like Little Bo Peep. I thought it was the
Mm.
cutest thing, and I had to make sure. And then I saw somebody in Atlanta doing kind of the same thing, and I had to tell them they were so adorable. I loved that. I just loved it because nobody else around was looking like this, but they were just walking around like it was. I mean, this this is me. This is what I'm going to do, and you're going to deal. And I loved it. And they were so
Yeah.
sweet, but I just loved it. So I always try to make sure to like compliment someone that's like outside the norm. Like if they are just really just doing their own thing, I think it's great.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Even like, sometimes like in the past, like wearing like a Star Wars t-shirt, I would get
Mm,
nervous because I was
hmm.
like, people are gonna see me and right away be like, "Oh, he's a nerd," and which I am. But
Nerds are great.
nerds are great. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no. But even like, but today, anytime I see someone with a Star Wars shirt, I
Mhm.
go up to them and I'm like, "My man,"
Absolutely.
like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it's not a bad thing. But yeah, like I mean, I definitely was guilty between the duck hat, between the Star Wars shirt. I definitely with wardrobe,
Hmm.
especially in those earlier years,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was the same way. I guess in a little, well, high school, yeah, but junior high, I didn't care. I just did whatever. And I'm now I'm kind of circling back and I'm making full circle. So now I wear what I want, whether it's a red carpet or not. I'm just going to throw something on, and if they like it, cool. If they don't, okay, it's
yeah,
fine. As long as I feel like I look good, and as long as I'm excited about what I'm wearing, then that's really what matters.
yeah, for sure. And I love that example that you brought up of the girl in New York City,
Ah,
and
so cute.
like I mean, because she's just walking around like with no care, right? She wasn't
No.
like, you couldn't see like oh she's nervous
Yeah,
or
no, not at all. She was just walking around like she just had on jeans and a t-shirt, and she was just walking around. But it was amazing because she really you could tell she took a lot of thought into what she put on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you
Yeah,
could tell that I mean, because nobody just throws that kind of stuff on and just walks out the door. I mean, I
yeah,
guess they could, but you could tell that she really cared about how she presented herself in her way to the world. And it was kind of a nonconformist type of thing, which was really cool. Really cool.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people would be like envious of that. I know I
Yeah,
am, like
I am. Yeah.
of that confidence to just,
Hmm.
go out and do that. And like, I think the reason why more people don't do that is because they're worried what other people are going to think if they were to be
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. And I go through that sometimes too, but I force myself to do it anyway, because how else are you going to get out of that unless you just make yourself do it anyway? And a lot of times I try to make myself do it to where I can't change clothes. It's not something I can take off. I'm out here, I'm in the
Hmm.
world, and this is just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm proud of myself for doing it anyway.
Yes. So what's like the fear when you are putting on an outfit that you're not sure about? What's going through your head? What are you worried about?
I'm worried that people think I'm weird or that I'm crazy or that something's wrong with me. That's mainly the thing. But also, you know, um, speaking of body types and things, I'm a curvier woman. And so sometimes I get a little nervous about whether it'll look right on me. Like I was making the comparison before, that an outfit on someone that, they look different because they're perceived to be prettier or the right shape or the right size, then that outfit would look great. And they might judge the person that doesn't have those same attributes. So sometimes I do worry about whether something fits right, whether it's draped right, whether I look fat, whether I look, okay. I do go
Hmm.
through that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you like when you're out and about, do you like sometimes like feel like maybe certain eyes are watching you and like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, and I do sometimes wonder, are they judging me, or do they think that this outfit looks bad on me, or maybe I should have worn something else? I do go through that sometimes, to be honest. But like I
Hmm.
said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I make myself do it anyway because I like my style and I know what I like and I need to impress myself. So, yeah, but I do worry about that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you tell yourself like during those moments where maybe you catch yourself worrying about that, like how do you like what do you tell yourself to remind yourself that you're okay, you know?
I make myself think back to how I felt when I looked in the mirror before I left the house
Mm.
and how excited I was to wear whatever it was before I left the house. And so when I try to bring that feeling back up, that kind of pulls me out of feeling so self conscious. Maybe not every time, but it doesn't always pull me out every time, but at least it makes me feel a little better if it doesn't pull me all the way out of feeling self conscious. Because I wore it for a reason and I love the way that I looked. So, I try to I try to remind myself, hey, you thought you were pretty hot before you left. So remember how you smiled when you put that on? Remember that feeling you had when you put it on and you first looked at yourself?
Hmm.
Keep that in mind because that's what you look like and
Yeah.
that's what you liked.
Hmm. And confidence can like make you like so much more attractive.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like there'll be times where I'm looking in the mirror and I'm wearing a nice outfit. I'm like, "Ooh, okay. Okay, okay,
Right,
okay."
right, right.
And then there's other times I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I still have the same face,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like down and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't even want to look at you. And but it's really interesting because um as you said, it also doesn't matter like sometimes it doesn't matter what you wear, but it's like how you go about it and
Yeah.
how you present yourself. And yeah, I feel like confidence is just such a big thing. And like sometimes just even like putting on a new shirt,
Mm-hmm.
that you know, because when I was in high school, I would my sister would make fun of me because I wore the Growfit, the the
The
gray.
what?
I think it's called the Growfit. It's the gray sweater with the gray sweatpants.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it had a name. Okay, got it. Okay.
Apparently it's a Growfit. Apparently it's not cool. I don't know. But I but like I would just wear I did not care at
Yeah.
all. I didn't care
Yeah.
at all about clothes. I
Mm.
that was just not my thing. I just didn't care. So I would just put on whatever. And But then I remember when I did start to like, as I got older, in
Mm-hmm.
high school, like, okay, yeah, I think I want to like start looking better.
Mm-hmm.
And, like doing that little shopping and getting some nice clothes,
Yeah.
just like clothes that for you are nice. It
Right.
can, even though it's like, just like something like, even though it's looks wise, it's something like small, just a different shirt or different pants. Sometimes it could just like give you a little more confidence to
Mm-hmm.
get you
Mm-hmm.
through,
Yeah.
rather than like, it's kind of like when you're wearing pajamas, you're sleepy,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. Right.
but if you get yourself dressed, put on those jeans and those sneakers and the t-shirt, you're kind of ready to go. You know what
Yeah.
I
You
mean?
carry yourself a little different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But to kind of piggyback on what you were saying about looking in the mirror, and it happens for everybody. There's some days I look in the mirror and I think I'm absolutely stunning. Then other times I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, what is that? What is
Mm.
this? Why is this? Why does my nose look like this? Or why, I think it's just a thing. It ebbs and flows. And I think that, we all go through it. It's just a human thing. But I have to always remind myself, like, you looked like this yesterday and you looked like this morning. So nothing has fundamentally changed. It's just,
Hmm.
but I also learned that when I start having those negative thoughts, when I look in the mirror and I start putting myself down or think, I immediately change the mindset. You know what I mean? So it's like, instead of sitting there and ruminating like I used to and picking apart every little thing like I used to, I find something about myself that I think is beautiful and I focus on that. And then I come back to the rest of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad after all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it sounds a little weird to do that, but but that's what normally gets me out of that spiral is I find something else that I'm looking at that I really appreciate and that I really think is beautiful. And
It's,
yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say it's not weird at all, and I think it's actually great because I mean, we're told so many times like it like we have to be nice to others and how
Hmm.
important that is, but also another thing that's just as important is being kind to yourself
Yeah.
and complimenting yourself. It's not like it's not like you have an ego by saying I look good today
Right.
or I like that about myself. Like it's like we all
Yeah.
deserve to feel good and to make ourselves feel good. So I'm proud
We
of you for that.
do.
That's great.
Thank you. It took me a little while to kind of get there, but with more practice, it works a lot faster and a lot easier. And then I have to remind myself too that everybody has something that they don't like. And there's no such thing as a perfect face or a perfect body or a perfect hair or a perfect
Hmm.
anything. You know what I mean? And I've started recently finding the beauty in the imperfection or imperfections in others. So if someone has like a gap in their teeth, I think that's actually kind of cute. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's different, or somebody has freckles or somebody wears their hair a little bit. And so when I find the beauty in others, then I find the beauty in myself. And if I wouldn't walk up to someone and tell them, oh, you look like crap, or you don't, why did you wear that? Then why would I say that to myself? That's horrible.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
horrible, you know? So yeah, I think that's helped a lot too, is finding those little things that are different about other people. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that actually works for them. So my little imperfections or whatever, or my differences work for me too. It makes
yeah,
us unique. It makes us different.
definitely. And yeah, most of the times it's like, we're all just concerned with our own appearances. That
Mm-hmm.
while like, when you said you went out and you would feel like people were watching you, I sometimes I feel like that and it's like the
Mm.
worst thing. I'll be walking and anytime someone looks in my direction, I'm like, oh God, they're judging me. But like
Right.
meanwhile, we're human and we just have eyes and some people just like look. I mean, I look where I'm walking, and
Yeah.
not, you know, people, especially a stranger, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I mean this in the nicest way, but like, a lot of times they don't care.
They don't.
It's like like I may think like, oh God, that person thinks I'm so ugly, but then it's they're just like they're just trying to figure out what they want to eat for lunch.
What I was just going to say that. Oh my God.
Really?
Right. I was like, they're just thinking about what sandwich they want to have for lunch. And we're having
Exactly.
this whole existential crisis.
Exactly.
And they didn't even see us,
And they
like,
didn't
at
even see
all.
us. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird that way. What do they call that, main character syndrome or main character energy, where, but all of us have it,
We all
and we're
have that.
also hard on ourselves,
Yeah.
and we see things that nobody else even sees, even if they're looking directly at you.
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know so another thing I had to stop doing was pointing out imperfections. If somebody said that I look nice, just say thank you. You don't have to say, oh yeah, but my hair looks like, oh my god, and do you see what this looks, my skirt is like, just say thank you. Just accept the compliment, because it makes it very uncomfortable for the other person when you're sitting there, and you're like breaking yourself down. Like, what are they supposed to do with that? You know what I mean?
Ye-
Just say thank you.
yeah. I agree 100%. I think that's a big thing. And I think sometimes it's hard, like especially even for me, like
Mm.
we're like if I feel like there's something wrong with me and then someone gives me a compliment, it's like I want to like be like, wait, but no, but at the same time, you know, take the compliment,
Right.
use it, and also it's like, yeah, like
Yeah, I do look good. Okay,
yeah,
yes, I do look nice.
exactly,
Okay, thank you.
exactly, exactly.
We are so hard on ourselves. It's really, and it's exhausting. You don't realize how exhausting it is to constantly pick yourself apart. It really is. You
Yeah,
know, it takes less effort to just say, yeah, okay, thanks, and keep it pushing versus breaking down yourself from head to toe. Like, don't do that.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, I would imagine as an actress for you,
Mm,
it's a
mm,
it's a it's a big thing because it's you're on camera.
mm-hmm.
There's certain roles that might have certain looks.
Yeah.
So how does body image tie into the acting side of it?
Ooh, that's a little more. That's a little deeper. Uh,
Unless you want to save that for later.
oh, no, 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 no. I'll work through it. It can be a little tough, um, because the first thought in my mind is they're not going to book me because I don't look like this. And what's weird about it, unless they are really breaking down what you're supposed to look like, you don't know what they're looking for. You
Hmm.
have no idea. But again, as I was saying before, I'm a little curvier. So sometimes I feel like, oh, they're going to pick somebody skinny. They're not going to pick somebody, that's fluffier. That's my favorite word, fluffy.
Mm.
So they're not going to pick someone like that. So why are you even doing this? It's just a waste of time. And that whole negative spiral starts. But again, and sometimes I'll have the instinct to decline the audition because I don't think that's what they want, especially if it's something outside of the norm of what I normally do. Like, I play a lot of cops, a lot of judges, a lot of, that sort of thing. So when I get an audition to play something outside of that, I get nervous because then I'm like, oh, they're going to want me to look like this. I'm going to have this kind of image. And, why would they ask me to do this? And yeah, they saw my headshots, but what if they see me from head to toe? They're going to change their minds and they're not going to. And I go through this whole, but again, I make myself do it anyway because you
Yeah.
don't know.
Hmm.
You don't know. And I've wound up booking certain things that I didn't think they were going to pick me for because I didn't fit what I thought they were going to go for. So just do it anyway. So, but I do still have that conversation every time I get an audition, though. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say it's gotten better in terms of um like from like maybe when you first started acting to
Mm.
now, and like how like roles are cast, like in terms of like um casting directors and people being more open-minded to different people rather than like, okay, this person has to look this way, because even like for example Cobra Kai,
Hmm.
um Showo, who plays Miguel,
Hmm.
I don't think they wrote his character to be a Spanish
Mm.
actor.
Hmm.
Um, but they saw Sholo, loved his audition,
Yeah.
and when they casted him, then they decided to like like revolve the story around that, and like, his family, like, moved from here, and like, his mom has that background, so like,
Yeah. Oh, that was
yeah,
so amazing. I think that is such. I got chills. I didn't. Oh my gosh,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
so amazing. I will say, from when I started to now, it has been a lot more inclusive. So for me, it's just battling my own mind. You know what I mean? Speaking of, the Law and Order, when I went up there, I'm thinking I had to be this super thin, like, oh my God, they're not going to have anything to fit me when I go up there because I'm not a size zero. And, I would sometimes, well, in the past, I would apologize for how I looked. Well,
Mm,
I'm sorry I'm not this size, and I'm sorry I don't look like this. And I would, make self deprecating type comments towards myself, but I've stopped myself from doing that. But I went up there and they had so many ranges of sizes, and some of the stuff didn't fit, because sizing is different based on, the brand of the clothing or whatever. But it was no big deal. It was no big deal. Oh, we'll just go grab you something else. It was no big deal. And because I didn't beat myself up, and because I didn't start apologizing and apologizing and I just kind of, I'm here. I earned this. I'm
mhm.
here and it's going to work. Then I felt confident and I felt great in what I had on. And then when I got dressed, I was like, oh, I look kind of badass. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. So I love, because in the beginning, I would have to bring my own wardrobe a lot of
Mm.
times because they didn't have clothes on a lot of these sets to fit me. To now, I don't have to worry about anything. I just show up and they've got what I need. And
Mm.
that's been such a game changer for me. And I'm about to cry. Oh my God.
Mhm.
um, it's been a game changer. That's all I can say. It's just made the experiences so much more. I can focus on the job instead of worrying about how I look. I got the job because of they liked what I did on tape. They liked the audition. They saw in me. It wasn't about what I looked like. It was what I could bring to the role. And I love that change. It's been great.
That's amazing. And it seems like you like really like, you know, have like come a long way, and like, have had such a like a positive like
Yeah.
transformation with this. And it's not because you changed how you looked, but it's just because you changed your mindset. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's just such a great thing.
It is. I stopped apologizing for who I am. I'm here. So let's
Yeah.
make it work. And it also puts everybody else at ease. And it just makes it a very positive energy exchange, where they're not having to feel bad for you because you feel bad for you. And again, it's that confidence. You show up confident, then they're like, okay, we're going to make it work. And it just kind of makes everybody feel good.
Hmm.
And even walking in and they're not immediately looking me up and down and like, oh God, that helps too, because I don't have to deal with that. So it's just the mindset has changed, but also the industry has changed a lot too, which helped a lot. So I can't take that away from the industry changes either.
Hmm. Yeah. And unfortunately, there are people out there that will judge and that will
Yeah,
say things. Um,
I've been
but
through that too.
mm,
Yeah.
was that like on film sets, or was that?
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah. Um, but that was in the earlier days. So I think with training and with things that they've had to learn, then they learn to not say certain things. And a lot of it too is standing up for yourself. Like, okay, I don't appreciate you saying that, or that wasn't appropriate, and it makes it awkward because you feel like you don't want to rock the boat because you don't want to make people, you don't want to get people mad. But
hmm.
at the same time, it's like, but I got to stand up for me because I have to go home with me,
Yeah.
and I don't want to carry all of that with me. So by standing up for myself, I am advocating for myself, and I'm showing myself that I love myself just as I am. And when you love yourself, you don't let other people bring you down.
Yeah. What would you say if, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you know, some people out there may be dealing with this, where like, someone could be like commenting on their body, and saying things, but then it's someone of, as you said, like someone maybe of a higher power in the industry, and it's like, if I say something, I could be fired. I could lose
Mm.
my job. Like I don't know. Like, have you ever?
I've been lucky to not have had it happen at that level.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very blessed to have not. But I can imagine how difficult it would be for someone to go through that, because these are the people signing the checks. You know what I mean? So what you can't really. So I've been very fortunate to have not dealt with that, but I do have a lot of empathy and sympathy for people that do have to deal with that, because they can't be easy.
Hmm.
That can't be easy.
Yeah. And like, I mean, the people that do that, that will judge you based off of how you look, unfortunately there are those people out there. And,
Mm,
if they are going to do that, it's like, it's better to know who those people are so that
agreed.
you could just,
Avoid that the next time.
avoid that the next
Maybe.
time. Cause like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like if you looked perfect in their eyes, it shouldn't matter how you look, and getting this person's approval any
Right.
way you look. If someone's gonna judge you because you don't
Yeah.
look a certain way, that's completely on them. And
Yeah.
if I was friends with somebody and they were judging somebody else based
Hmm.
on how they looked, I would not want to be friends with that person.
Right.
I probably wouldn't be friends with them in the
In the
first
first
place,
place.
because even if they never did that before, it
Hmm.
just says a lot about someone's character, and a lot of it comes from insecurity.
True. That's a good point. It's projection. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like people like will project certain things that like they're feeling maybe onto you or onto others around you?
Just in general,
Yeah.
um, I have experienced that before. And it used to hurt a lot. And I did go through a phase where I would try to change myself to fit what that individual thought looked great. But then I'd meet somebody else and they had a totally idea of what looked great. And so I became like this chameleon, and it just became
Mm.
this very, like I said, exhausting, constantly trying to change to fit the mold of everybody. And it's just like, I'm tired and I don't want to do it anymore. So the people that appreciate who I am in however I am, those are the people I want to be around. And so I just avoid the people who do critique me in that way or make little snide remarks or something like that. Um, I've learned to cut them off a lot quicker than I used to.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah,
been very helpful as well.
that's great.
Yeah.
What about friends or family?
Mm.
Because yeah, that could be a tricky one. It's kind of similar in a way to the boss, or someone in a workplace where you don't want to, because
Yeah.
sometimes people, oh, I'm just kidding, or I'm just joking, or like, oh, but
Yeah.
you know,
Now, I have experienced that more so. I mean, family's just going to say family, but I just kind of, with family, for some reason, because they're closest to me, I just kind of let it roll off my back because they're critiquing everybody. So it's like, I
yeah,
don't care. But luckily, I haven't had any friends do that, but I have had dating situations where it's been like that,
mm,
where they nitpick every little thing. And I'm like, then why are you here? So
mm,
it's like, if you don't like this or you don't like that. I remember there was this one guy I was dating, and when we met, I was much thinner, because I was fighting to get super, super skinny. And then we separated for a while. And then when we reconnected, he was like, "Oh God, what happened to you? Like, why would you? Oh, you used to be so beautiful. Like, you used to be really, like, what happened to you?" And it took me aback, of
mm,
course, but I wound up just throwing him out of my house, and then I moved on with my life. But of course, I had those years to kind of develop myself and work on myself and my mindset and how I was thinking, because previously that would have just gutted me and just devastated me. But this time I was just like, who are you?
mhm,
Like, who are you? Like, you're saying all of these things to me, but you're still here. So you can leave, you
mm,
know? And again, it goes back to when I started advocating for myself and standing up for myself, then I really started loving myself and I healed a lot of things inside because, it proved to myself that I'm worthy of good treatment and I don't deserve to be talked to any kind of way and I don't deserve to be put down. And once I started loving the little girl in me, things started getting a lot better.
Mm.
And I'm thankful for that. Even for that experience, because then it showed that I really did care about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was horrible. But then I was like, but no, you're not going to do this. No, absolutely not. And I'm not going to go back into starvation and beating my body down so that you think I'm hot.
Mm-hmm.
Go find somebody that you think is hot.
Yeah.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I felt a little aggressive. But
No,
yeah.
that's okay. That's okay. No, you have every right to.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, whew, okay. So now I'm back.
Yeah. And there are people out there that will no matter what love you for you, and those are the people that because it like who gives a crap what you look like?
Who
Why does it?
cares?
Who cares? Who
It
cares?
changes your body and your face. It changes. You're going to grow older, and things are going to shift and move, and it
Yeah,
just changes.
but it doesn't. And it doesn't
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
Who are you as a person? Are you
Hmm.
kind? Do you care about other people? You know what I mean? That's what matters.
Yeah.
How do you enrich other people's lives? Do people like being around you?
Hmm.
That's what matters. And, also when we come back to what's hot or not, what's hot in 2025 can change in 2027. Are you going to keep chasing this never ending, goalpost? Like, no, it is what it is. Be hot
Yeah.
for yourself. Your confidence is what makes you hot. Your confidence is what draws the right people to you. So that is what you focus on, not, can I fit into this certain dress size, or does my nose need reshaping, or I mean, no shade to anybody that does that. I mean, because I also think that if it's something that truly bothers you and
Hmm.
it's not because of other people, then change what you feel like is going to make you feel better. But never do anything to yourself that's permanent because you're trying to make other people like you or think that you're worth whatever they think you're worth.
Hmm.
Do it for yourself.
Because then they're gonna end up saying like, "Why would you do that to your nose or whatever?" And it's like, yeah,
Right. Or the fads change and then you've got this permanent decision that you've
yeah,
made
yeah,
because you're trying to fit into an aesthetic. So if it's something that you want to change for you because that will make you feel more confident, then go for it by all means. I think that's amazing.
yeah, yeah. No, I like finding out like when people, I mean, obviously it sucks when people are jerks, but
Mm.
it's better to find out so you can weed those people out. When they make those
Exactly.
comments, it's like, okay, thank you for sharing that with me now before we got into this friendship. I'll see you
Right.
later.
You can move on. But that's the trick. Being able and having, I know we keep saying the word confidence, but being confident enough to cut those people off because sometimes that can be difficult, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So,
Yeah.
and it's uncomfortable sometimes because you don't know what their reaction is going to be when you tell them kick rocks. You have no idea what their reaction is going to be. But the only person that you have to impress and the only person you have to like is yourself. And you'll find that you're better for having that uncomfortable conversation and telling them to move on than to keep them around and your self-esteem just goes down, 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 down. Because if they make that comment, then they're going to continue to do it. And it's going to get worse. And they're always going to find something wrong with you. They're always going to find something that they feel like you should fix. But I also think, and forgive me if I'm rambling, this is
Oh,
a subject I'm very passionate
you're,
about.
you're great. You're great.
But I also feel like, do they really feel like that about you? Because nobody would go out of their way to try to make you feel bad if they didn't see the light in you that they're jealous of.
Ooh,
Nobody would
wow,
work that hard. Like, why would they do that?
wow. That was a really good. That was a great quote.
I mean, but when you think about it, yeah, why would anybody do that?
Can you say that quote again? That was really good.
God, I forgot what I said. Something like nobody would work that hard to bring you down or make you feel bad about yourself unless they were jealous of the light that they see in you.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Wow.
But yeah. So just think of it that way. Like, why would they do that? Oh, then that must be really great. If they
Mm-hmm.
felt the need to go out of their way to do that, okay, then I'm cool. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow, I love that. That was a great quote. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, actually, because it
We
just
got
kind of hit me like,
gotta
why
write
would they
that
do
down.
that?
That was great. Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, I for me, like it was high school, college, and even now, like, I struggled like with like, when I was on the basketball team in high school,
Hmm.
we're wearing like, the sleeveless shirts, and
Uh,
I was always the skinniest kid on the team, and
oh,
like I'd be called like stick or twig, or
oh,
like, I you don't eat, Drew, you gotta,
mm,
bulk up. And it was something that was very hard for me at the time.
mm,
So and I was very sensitive growing up, so I
yeah,
I took it very hard. And like, I think like, sometimes, like, when you, like, if someone like were to say like you're fat to someone, like that could
mm,
sound like mean, but then when you say you're skinny, it's a compliment,
yeah,
when
yeah.
it's not always a compliment. And I
No,
never took it as a compliment. I actually,
yeah,
I did not want to be called skinny.
yeah,
That was not what I wanted to be. Um, so yeah, that was always hurtful. And
yeah.
yeah,
I can
growing up,
imagine.
especially constantly being surrounded
Excuse
by,
me. I'm sorry. Can we pause?
oh no, you're good. You're good.
I got a tickle.
No, you're good.
Oh, I forgot we can edit this out.
Yeah, do
Sorry.
you want water?
I appreciate it, but just all of a sudden. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Please
You're good.
continue.
You're good. You're good. Um, no, I've done that on the live stream, by the way. It's the worst.
Because you're trying to recover. The more you try to recover, the worse it gets.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But
Um,
what were you saying? That it wasn't a compliment for you.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like, because, on the team, I was constantly surrounded by my teammates. So there was
Mm,
constantly comparisons. And,
mm-hmm,
my teammates were going to the gym, and, they were bigger than me. And I
mm,
was like, I was trying, but it also, I was also dealing with like, certain things mentally. And,
mm-hmm.
that was hard to like,
Yeah,
it was hard to get into the gym at that time. And,
yeah.
I just remember it was a difficult time. And like, even,
Mm.
even college, like, you know, feeling like, people will like say to me sometimes like, what are you like, what year of high school are you in or something like, and I'm like, I graduated college. It's like, really? And in a way it's like, okay, like, I look like a kid, which is
Yeah.
cool. But then there are times where like, and I would say sports is like a big thing because I really love basketball, but like,
Mm,
it does bring out that insecurity when I'm on the court
yeah.
and everyone else around me is bigger than me. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, what grade are you in? And they're like, I'm a freshman. And they're like 7 feet tall and like ripped. And I'm like, oh, I'm a senior.
I can imagine that's tough. Yeah, yeah. But I'm like, oh God. But how do you get away? Well, yeah. I mean, because it's an innocent question, but they don't know how it affects you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what? You kind of see I'm like laughing about it.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like sometimes like you go through it enough where it's like you can make a joke about it, and it can be funny.
yeah, yeah.
Depends
No,
on how
I
you
get
see
it.
it.
No, that's true. That's true. And usually when I'm on set, I'm the curviest person on set.
Mm.
Usually, so I'm looking around. Oh my gosh! When I was looking at the pictures from the part, well, not the party, but when we were on set taping the party for Cobra Kai, I was like, I had this beautiful dress on, and I felt like I looked gorgeous. But then I'm standing next to Courtney, and I'm like trying to But I was like, so I get it. And nobody ever made a comment about, they just thought I looked great in the dress, but you have your own mental when you're surrounded by people and you're just like having to, okay, but I look good, but I'm here, but I look good, but I'm here, but I look good. Yeah. So I get it.
And I know that
Uh,
picture. You looked great, by the way. And
ah.
when I saw that picture, I'm not like looking specifically at Kwajalyn and how you're looking. I'm like, this is such a beautiful cast. I love this cast. That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm also like,
Aw.
Kwajalyn's back in season 6. Woo! And I'm sure that's how
Yeah.
everybody's looking at it.
Yeah, yeah. I try to remind myself of that. Like, I'm looking at things again, like we see things in ourselves that other people don't see. you know
Hmm.
whether that's positive, negative, whatever. We see things that sometimes other people don't see, so I try to, okay, we're not going to zero in on this. We're going to just look at the overall thing. I'm on Cobra Kai. They brought me back. It was amazing. I'm wearing this fabulous dress. It's great.
Hmm.
And that's what the focus is. Like, be in the moment. Like, girl, you are on set with these people and you get to say goodbye to everyone, and you didn't think you were going to be able to do that, so that's very special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we talked about like changing your mindset
Mm-hmm.
for body image. But let's say like, you are feeling a certain way about yourself and it's like I want for myself, I want to um feel better physically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will help me mentally.
Mm-hmm.
How would you like what advice would you give for like healing body image like physically and like taking those like those steps?
You mean as far as changing the body or just changing the mindset about the body?
I would say if someone wanted to like for example, if someone wanted to gain weight or
Mhm,
lose weight or whatever it
mhm,
may be, um and want to start going to the gym or start exercising more, like
mhm.
how do you do that in a way where how do you do that in a healthy way, I would say.
Hmm. I would say to set realistic expectations for yourself, meaning, like, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. That's a little unhealthy. You know what I mean? Versus saying, you know what? I want to make my body stronger and I
Hmm.
want to make myself a little more compact. That is a healthier way of looking at it versus looking at the scale. Either way, if you want to gain weight, just say, you know what? I want to go and I want to get stronger and I want to build muscle. You know what I mean? And I think it's also important that if you have a physician, talk to them and see if there's a healthy way that they can kind of guide you through that process, or a nutritionist or something like that. They can kind of help guide the way that you do things so that you're not out there winging it and potentially hurting yourself,
Hmm.
mentally and physically, trying to reach a particular goal.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope I
definitely.
answered the question.
No, you did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna say something
Yeah.
else.
No, no, no. I just said that's basically what I did. Like, I got with a nutritionist and I talked about the things I like to eat, the things I didn't like to eat, and learning that there aren't any things that you have to like cut out completely, but you just learn how to measure and you moderate and and then once I started going to the gym, I realized I really like working out a lot.
Hmm.
I really do. But I also listen to my body. And when my body's like, girl, we can't do this again today, then I take a rest break. Where before I used to try to push through and barrel through.
Hmm.
And then I wind up hurting myself or something happens and I'm exhausted and I'm sitting down for 3 weeks because I'm trying to recover from, trying to do Iron Man for 3 days, you know? So I listen to my body and I don't cut things out anymore. I just moderate. Okay, you've had enough of this. This was great. Now let's get back on track. And and sometimes it's easier, sometimes than others. But I also give myself grace, you know. So if I do take a couple of days where I'm not eating quite so well, I don't sit there and beat myself up and say, "Oh God, now you failed and you might as well just give up and not try
Hmm.
anything." I just very next day, I just get right back on it. And I
Yeah.
found that it's not that hard, you know? And
Hmm.
it's yeah, so I'm like, okay, I had some fun and now I can go and, get myself together. And it's cool.
Hmm. 100%. And I do think it's important, like, if you feel a certain way about yourself, like, I want to be stronger, or I want to lose
Mhm.
weight, or I want to, like, you do have the power to do something about that.
You do.
And, you don't do it just because of what other people are saying, what other people
Right.
are thinking. And also
Right.
do it for yourself, but also, you just want to be like a little better than the person you were yesterday and just keep going. And it's not
Yeah.
going to be like an overnight like
No,
I'm going to
no.
be this and now I'm going to be this. It's like I think the most important thing is just to feel good and to be healthy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to not look for perfection because there's nothing perfect.
No, no. Especially because there's so many factors too. Like I remember like when I would first start going to the gym, it stressed me so much because it wasn't just about lifting weights. You had
Hmm.
to eat the right foods. You had to eat
Yeah.
a certain amount of foods. I'm like, bruh, this is too much work. I'm like, this is
Yeah, it's a
crazy. I'm like,
lot.
I'm like, wait, when am I supposed? And they're like, you gotta like. I went to the gym and they gave me this like this food plan. They're like, yeah, you cook a fish for dinner and then you make a steak for before dinner. I'm like, what? I don't know how to do
Who?
this.
Well, who has the time to be chewing like this all day?
Exactly. I don't have time to make these foods. Quite frankly, I'm kind of a picky eater, so I don't know if I want to even eat that. Like,
Oh my God.
so
No, I get it.
it's like a lot of pressure, and then it's like sometimes it gets to the point where it's like maybe I should not do anything because it's too much.
Right, because you just tires, you wear yourself down trying to do. Now, there are some people like this trainer I worked with, and she is amazing, but she has that mindset to be, sis, I'm not like that. I can't like
Yeah.
at one point I was in tears because I was like, I don't want any more protein today. I cannot chew another piece of chicken. I cannot do it. I just
Yeah.
can't. So you have
Yeah.
to do what works for you. You know what I mean? So, or incorporate certain things, but give yourself some leeway to do some other stuff so that you can kind of stick with it.
Exactly, exactly. Like not asking like, for me, I wouldn't ask a bodybuilder, "Hey,
Mm.
what's your gym schedule and your food
That's
habits?"
who
I'm
my
going to do
trainer was. She was a bodybuilder. Fantastic, but she has the mindset for that. And I did see changes, but my goodness.
Yeah, but everybody's different and it's like
Yeah.
what works for her might not work for everybody else.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I mean, I was in the best shape of my life, but I was in tears. I was like, I do not
Mm,
want this anymore because it's,
yeah.
it's very, So you have to go with what your mindset is and what that is going to work for you and what that you're going to be able to stick to. So, yeah.
Mm. And it's interesting because like, when people are like commenting on our body image, and like hurting our feelings, like that can lead to depression. But
Yeah.
it's also interesting because, as you said, like going to the gym and putting in that effort,
Mm-hmm.
but then like, not seeing the results or overworking yourself, like you
Yeah.
said, can also lead to depression. It's a
Yes.
very fine line. You got to be
It
careful.
Yeah, when you're overworking yourself because you feel like you're going to lose this 20 pounds in 3 days, or you're going to bulk up to, the rock in, 2 weeks. And so it's very demoralizing to yourself when you're looking in the mirror and you don't see these immediate changes because your mind, mentally, you're at your end goal, but what you're
Mhm.
seeing in front of you is not that. So the word for me, grace, and just being realistic and realizing that things take time. And even if do all the things, you're not going to look like somebody else because you're not them. So look the best for you, you
Mhm.
know? And what you are is perfect because it's you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely 100%. So
Yeah.
how would you say you set boundaries around people like when like they do like comment on your appearance or how you may look? Like how do you kind of tell them like, "Hey, like I don't know if I like that," or.
Well, through living life and getting a little older, I've just become a lot bolder with everything I
Mhm.
say. But that also came with practice. So, setting the boundaries, I just tell them, hey, back up off me. Like, this is my body. This is how I look. And, maybe we shouldn't be commenting on other people's appearance. And when I was in my snarkier days, I would be like, there are certain things I can say about you, but we're not going to do that. So, but I decided to
Mhm.
be nicer. But I set the boundaries by just telling them it's not cool. I don't appreciate it. Don't mention my body again. Stop talking about the way that I look. I am happy with the way that I look. And if you don't like it and you want to feel like you want to keep commenting, then we just don't have to talk.
Mhm.
And you're going to be cut out of somebody's life who's pretty great. So maybe you need to chill.
Yeah. And how do you love yourself on the tough days? Because we all have those days where it's like, some days we just don't like
Yeah.
how we look. And even if we look the same as we did a few days ago, like sometimes it's just a mindset thing. Like
Yeah.
how
It
do you
just changes. Yeah.
yeah, how do you love yourself on those days?
Whew. On those days, those are self care days, heavy self care days.
Mhm.
I'm taking long baths, or I go and get my nails done, or my feet done, or I maybe do something here for myself to, just kind of uplift my spirit. I watch a lot of comedies. I watch a lot of things that are going to make me feel good about things and feel better about things, because I think it's not necessarily that you hate what you look like. You're just not in a great mental space, period.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're just not. Because when you feel good, you feel like you look good. So if you're not feeling great overall, then everything sucks. So for me, at least for me. So I just try to do things that'll kind of take my mind off of those things, or gardening, I'll go do that. And then it reminds me that my body's strong and I can carry, things, and I can do things. And it just takes me out of that mindset for a while. And then when I'm done with whatever tasks or whatever duties or whatever things I decided was fun, I'm not even thinking about what I look like anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the physicality, just doing something physical that will take me out of that mindset.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, like distracting yourself
Yeah.
until you're in a better state of mind.
Yeah. When you're not like ruminating, when you're not letting yourself go down the rabbit hole and you actually distract yourself and do other things, then you wind up forgetting that you were even hating on yourself a few minutes ago. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah. And other people's like I totally blanked. I forgot my thought.
It's okay.
What was I gonna say? I'm gonna edit this part out.
Well, you edited me choking to death.
I
We
did
can,
not.
we can.
All right, we're 1-1. We're 1-1. Wait, I was gonna say something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, this wasn't it, but it's another. Um. So, what advice would you give for maybe young actors
Hmm.
or not? Let me start that over because it doesn't have to be young actors. Let me start over.
Okay, okay,
edit,
okay.
edit, blah, blah, blah.
Take
Okay,
two, take
take
two.
two, take two, take two. Okay, what advice would you give to actors or anybody who is like maybe trying to do a line of work where like appearance is a thing, where
Mm,
that is something that could come into factor, and
mhm.
how should they like navigate that?
Hmm. That's a good question. I think that goes back to, again, loving and appreciating yourself for who you are, realizing what your talents are, realizing what your skills are. And for me, also realizing I'm not going to fit into every breakdown that casting sends out. I'm not going to be a good fit for every character. Because that's what I would kind of sometimes struggle with, is I was always trying to mold myself in, like I said before, mold myself into whatever I thought that they wanted. Um, but once I just started being myself and bringing myself to the auditions, I started booking a lot more, because even if they were thinking of something different, they were like, "Oh, I never thought about that before.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do that instead." You know what I mean? And so I think just getting in that mindset of, you know what, it doesn't matter what the breakdown says. I'm going to bring myself to this role. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to show them what I can do. Focus on the work, not on the appearances. And sometimes, even when you don't fit the aesthetics of what they're looking for, you know how many times I've been called back for auditions for the same project over and over again until they found something that would work with who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So take the pressure off. Don't try to mold and bend yourself. Just bring yourself to the role, and you'd be really surprised how often they change things because they want it to fit you versus you fitting what they had in mind.
Yeah.
So always, yeah, just be yourself. And again, I know I keep saying this, I'm beating this like a dead horse. Stop chasing perfection, because a lot of people don't even know what perfection is. What's perfect to Marty might not be perfect to Joanne. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So what is perfect? Just be yourself, and things that are meant for you will flow to you. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be a good person. Be a kind
Yeah.
person.
Be
Show
easy to
love to
work with.
others. Yeah.
Yeah. Be easy to work with, easy to be around. Yeah.
I
The
don't want
rest.
to. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying the rest will work itself out.
Yeah, like I don't want to hang around with the person that everyone thinks is pretty if they're a jerk. You know.
Yeah, So it's like, yeah, people appreciate on sets. What I have found, people appreciate people that are authentically nice and kind and easy to work with. I mean, you don't have to be the life of the party, but don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Everybody's job is hard. These people are on set for 20 hours sometimes a day.
Hmm.
Just make it a little easier for them by being a kind person.
And kindness is beautiful. It's so
It
beautiful. When I see someone being kind, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Like you are you're a
Yeah.
beautiful person.
Yeah,
Like
it
that.
touches something in you.
Yeah. Yeah. If someone might look, like a certain way, they might look pretty or good.
Mhm.
Like when they're a jerk, it's like they automatically could become ugly.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have been almost brought to tears by someone just being a very kind person, and you could tell it's genuine, it's not an act.
Yeah.
And I still think about these people even if I've only met them once in an elevator somewhere. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, she was
Yeah.
just so beautiful. Her spirit was just so beautiful." And it reminds me to be that way, to just
Mhm.
be kind, because you don't know what other people are dealing with, what other people are going through. And sometimes that kind word can really make the difference in somebody's life, for real,
Hmm.
whether it's for that day or a lifetime. So just, you know, let's just be nice. Let's just be nicer to each other and stop commenting on each other's looks and stop commenting on each other. Like, just, it costs
Hmm.
nothing.
Yeah. And if you're gonna comment on someone's looks, give a compliment.
Give a compliment. Yes.
You know?
Give a compliment.
You don't have
Because
to.
there's,
Oh yeah,
oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry. No, no, no. Go, go.
No, it's like yeah, like nice shirt, nice.
Yes.
What I don't know, anything. The littlest thing like could
Could make a person's day, because again, they could be walking around feeling self-conscious about what they have on,
mm,
and you tell them they look great, and it builds their confidence back up and they're not so self-conscious anymore.
and you
See?
did that for them.
Yeah.
And then that's something that they remember forever. Even if
Ever.
you could forget about that person, you can move on with your life, but that person might remember that one moment
Right.
for so long. You
Yeah,
know,
and it gives them the confidence. We got to find another word, but it gives them
it is confidence.
it is confidence, but it pushes them further into being authentically themselves and loving themselves and appreciating themselves for how they show up in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one hundred
Oh,
percent.
love that.
Me too. Me too. Oh my goodness. This was amazing. This was such a
It
great
was.
conversation and it flowed by so quickly
It.
because
How long have we been? Oh wow.
like over an hour.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And
I love it.
it went by quick because it was just a natural
Yeah.
it was
But you're a fantastic interviewer anyway. I'm always nervous before interviews. I'm always just like, oh God. But you just make it so easy to just flow and talk. And yeah, so you're amazing. And I always love talking to you. Always, always, always.
I appreciate that, Kwajalyn. And sometimes I feel like I'm interviewing and other times I feel like I'm having a discussion and this felt like a really good discussion.
Yeah.
Which
And
which
yeah.
which is why it went so quick.
Exactly. And I opened up a lot more than I thought I would. I was like, no, I'm not going to say this.
Oh, whoops.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, what?
I guess that's our cue. What is,
Internal. Oh, wait, what
do
the?
you have it plugged up?
I do. That's never
That's
happened
why.
before.
Oh.
Internal temperature too high. What the? Oh my
Uh-oh.
goodness. Wait. Oh, okay.
And we're back.
Wait,
And
what?
then what is, maybe you're too hot. You're sitting in front of it. And it cuts
Oh,
off.
you're hyping up my body image.
It's gotta be, because as soon as you stood up, it was like, fine.
Yeah, literally. See, if you ever feel insecure, just rely on your camera battery to tell you that you're hot.
Exactly. Perfect.
Wait, let me just quickly try and get this. So just so I could give a proper
No, you're fine.
conclusion to our
I'm cool. I have nowhere to be, so we're
All
good.
right. Okay. Hopefully. Okay.
Okay.
We'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see. Um what were we saying? Oh man, now I'm forgetting. Natural conversation, natural
Yes.
discussion. Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
Mm,
I appreciate you so much for opening up and for
mm,
sharing, because I know it's difficult, and you don't have to open up, you don't have to share.
mm,
And it's very scary, and
mm.
just it's a big thing, but the fact that you were so honest and open, whoever's listening to this, you know, they could be listening and being like, yeah, I feel that way too. I'm not the
Oh,
only one. And
yeah.
that right there, that's because of, what you're saying. Someone's going to out there is going to listen and resonate with that. And that's going to be huge. And, that's why we're doing this. So hopefully it does have that impact. And I think it will.
I think so too. And I really appreciate you for even thinking of something like this. You know what I mean? Because if it's not for your platform, then nobody would hear what we're having to say.
Mhm.
So I am very, very proud of how you've developed and how you've grown, and just seeing your confidence grow and you build as a person. And I am honored to know you,
Thank you.
truly.
Thank you. And I feel the same way. And I'm so happy you were on here for this discussion. You are always welcome back onto Mindful Matters for another chat.
Thank you. I'd love to. And it got me almost crying again. Oh my
Oh,
God.
oh,
It's okay. It's
no,
okay.
you're the best. You're the best. I always love talking to you. And yeah. So where can everybody find you on social media, or any projects going on right now that you want to
Um,
announce or?
Let's see. On all social media, I'm official Kwajalyn B on every social media platform. I used to have it different, and then I was just like, "Why are you doing that?" But anyway, so it's official Kwajalyn B everywhere. I have a few projects out on TV, but you can also still see me on Law and Order this season. So I'm in episode 7 of season 27, which is amazing that this show's been on this long. So yeah, so just auditioning, just plugging away, and hopefully I'll have some other great news soon.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, well, everybody go give Kwajalein a follow, and
Thank you.
I'll put the links in the description. And yeah, excited to see what you do next.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of
Well, you have a
course.
great evening.
You too, you too. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Kwajalein, and we will see you next time on Mindful Matters.
Bye.
Bye.